million settlement related to Flint, Michigan water litigation. So this is not just like a little problem here, a little problem there. If I would ask you all to go to Google and just look up water contamination news, and you'll be horrified. So that's the, what you're going to learn about is how your water is harming you and what to do about it. Now, once again, my name is Bob Safale. I do run the Celebrity Network. That's how I learned all about New Life and what they're doing. As you can see, some of the celebrities I work with up there, you see Paula Abdul, Ricky Williams, you have Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms, Eddie George, Taj George, Paulina Parakova, and many others. We're connected with well over 5,000 celebrities in the sports, music, TV, and film space. And I like pointing this out because I am introduced to products constantly every single week, every single day. And it's very, very rare that I find one where I went, whoa, now this is interesting. And the deeper I got involved and learned about it, the better. And I'm going to tell you, when my wife started looking into it to do, because frankly, she's the one to make sure I don't drop dead. She makes sure I'm in good shape, healthy shape. She's a definitely, that's who I do. That's my BS detector on anything. And I can tell you right now, she was a big, big fan of what she found out with Echo H2. So that's who I am. And I just want to point out, this is what we're going for. You are going to see how you can dramatically improve your health by just drinking the right type of water. I want to say that again. This is what's coming to you right now. How you can dramatically improve your health by just drinking the right type of water. That's it. That's all it takes, okay? Now, everybody who stays to the end of this webinar, okay, will learn how you can get a $1,200 water product for free, okay? Everybody who stays to the end will learn how that's going to happen, okay? So put that up in your little, you got to say to yourself, I'm going to go through, you're going to want to stay there this webinar from the end anyway, because it's fun. You're going to learn a lot. Would you agree, guys? Would you agree this is unusual, folks? Would you also agree it'd be kind of cool to get a $1,200 safe water product? Is that good? Sound like a good deal to you guys? Okay. Now, I want you just to think in the future a little bit. Is that okay, folks? I want you to imagine if you knew at least three ways you can take control of your health without making drastic change in your lifestyle, okay? And I bet you everybody here, tell me if this is right or wrong, has been approached by different health solutions, weight loss solutions, you name it. And they said, okay, if you do this, you can feel great. And you go to yourself, oh my gosh, I can't do all that stuff. That's crazy. I'm not going to go on a 300 calorie per day diet, then roll it up to 1,500 calories, then roll it back down to 50 calories, then I'm only going to eat ham on this day, or I'm not going to ever eat beans or anything. No. See, that's the point here. You're going to learn three ways you can take control of your health without making drastic change to your lifestyle. We're talking about putting the right water in a glass and drinking it. Now, is that asking too much, folks? Can you work with that? Work with me on that? Okay, very, very good. Now, this is where I'm gonna mention this real quick, and I'm gonna bring in a very special guest in a second here. What we're talking about right now in the next few minutes, we're gonna talk about a special purified hydrogen water that can quickly improve your health and feel better. So that's what we're going to be talking about right now, is when you drink a special type of purified hydrogen water, you're going to quickly improve your health. And by the way, there have been well over 600 studies that have been published showing the therapeutic effects of drinking H2 enriched water. And these studies have focused on 150 different human disease models. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to a doctor who's been doctoring for 3 decades. He's a specialist in reproductive endocrinology, and he also is a specialist in the field of water, having researched, used many products, developed plans for almost a decade in the field of water. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. Joey Bird. Can you hear me, big fella?
Hey, I'm with you, Bob. So glad to be with you this evening.
Oh, and listen, I know you are busier than a one-armed paper hanger. I really want to appreciate you taking the time, but can I just ask you a real quick question? I don't know if I asked this for Joe. Why did you get into water? What was your aha moment? What got you interested in the field?
Well, it really started when I began taking a real interest in regenerative type medicine. In fact, I did some work with a group out of Las Vegas, and they're all over the United States in anti-aging medicine, Synagenics. And I really got an exposure to how important high quality water is to the body. In fact, other than oxygen that we breathe in, water's the most essential element that our body needs to function in a healthy way. And so I really began to pour myself into it and realized, wow, you can change a lot about how your body feels and how it functions by changing the water you drink.
And tell me, was there a specific, I guess, moment where it really hit you, where you went, "Oh, wow, this really is a huge issue"?
Well, I think it probably was when I became aware of just how extensive the medical literature and scientific literature is validating the effects of this. But, from a personal perspective, I began to feel better. I had more energy. I could exercise at a greater rate. And I didn't have the aches and pains that I would have after I would really work myself to extremes. So for me, it was just adding another layer of ability to my life and allowed me to be healthier.
Yeah, I've heard that from many people, and it makes sense. Is it true that you're 98% water? Is that like your cellular? Is that true? I've heard that number, but I've never asked a physician or a professional.
Well, it's hard to believe, but that's true. When you think about it, we're just membranes filled with water, almost like water balloons. Our whole body is made up of trillions of cells, and each of those cells are full of water. So,
Okay.
you know, it's amazing how it all comes together with water.
It really is. And the first thing I want to address here, because when I talk about people about water, their first reaction is, well, my water isn't really that bad. And I went, whoa. In fact, before you talk about this, doctor, I mean, there have been lab tests that now detected 38 different chemicals in 10 different brands of water, of bottled water. In bottled water, 38 different types of chemicals. So let's talk about what's happening with water right now, and why has contamination become such an issue?
Well, I think you don't have to look any further than the governmental agencies that monitor this. The EPA, the CDC actually did a report where they documented that indeed our municipal water supplies are indeed probably the safest in the world. We're not dying of dysentery and some of these bacterial-ridden um, water diseases, but how we get to that point where we kill all the bacteria is we exchange it for other chemicals like chlorine and a lot of the pharmaceutical industry's products that end up in the water system that we get a minute amounts in our water system. They can't filter that out. Also, a lot of fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides. These things leach into our water system, and the government says, okay, it's acceptable to have a certain amount of this in there. But
Hmm.
if you drink much of it, it's got to be cleared by the body, and it has devastating effects on our gut and the microflora, the healthy bacteria that reside there. And so that's why it's so critical that we get this right.
I watched a video just the other day, Doctor. Former CBS journalist Cheryl Atkinson was doing an interview with this researcher, and I'm going to tell you when my aha moment. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, here was my moment. When this researcher gave a specific example, and this is what shook me up. He said that 50% of all fish that come out of the Great Lakes have psychiatric drugs in their system. 50% psychiatric drugs. I was like, oh no. Have you heard of that study before? I mean, I was floored.
Well, I mean, it just validates what I'm saying, that as we discharge these metabolites from our pharmaceutical products that we put in our body, that arrives in the watershed, and it is actually what is utilized by fish, by humans, believe it or not, through the sterilized water that shows up in our sinks. And it's the reason why I would never drink from a spigot.
Okay, now let me ask you this. And once again, I have a lot of people who say, yeah, I know I would never drink tap water. And I go, well, do you know what's happening with bottled water? Could you be specific on kind of what? Give me a couple issues with plastic bottles and bottled water.
Well, I mean, if you understand that this plastic that surrounds that water over time, you don't know what conditions it's been stored in, what the loss rate of some of those um, gases emitted from the plastic into the water. So a lot of these things have demonstrated to be carcinogenic and can actually lead to development of cancer in ideal situations. But you wouldn't taste it. I mean, it's tasteless. It just floats around as a component in the water. And essentially, if you drink a lot of it, you get a lot more exposure than you would otherwise. That's why I don't recommend bottled water, even though a lot of people love it and it's very convenient.
Exactly. So, folks, would you all agree that, whoa, maybe my water, there are problems. Would everybody, now that you've heard some of this, does that make sense, folks? Okay. So let's address the second issue. Okay. So, hydrogen water is a whole new approach to health. And a lot of people go, oh, I mean, there's this, there's that. I mean, it's just another thing that come along the pike. Is it really that different? Well, there now are big scientific reports coming out that show how water reduces inflammatory responses. It addresses, I mean, so many different things. Can you tell people what is hydrogen water and why is it a new approach? I think I heard in doing all my research, is hydrogen one of the smallest elements, therefore it moves around the body? Is it kind of like that? Tell people about that.
Well, essentially, in molecular hydrogen or hydrogen in a gas form, when exposed to water and really saturated there in about 1.2 parts per million, can be absorbed throughout the body just like water does. But when it comes to the cell wall, it immediately runs through that cellular wall into the cytoplasm of the interior of the cell. And there's some great studies that show that this hydrogen functions as a selective antioxidant. For those of you who know that, everybody says, hey, eat your, veggies and fruits. Well, that's to get those antioxidant loads higher. But this does this very efficiently and very effectively.
And that's what struck me, because I know there's been a lot of attention in the past on on water filters, which is different than what we're talking about, as you learn in a second, about alkaline water filters. And my understanding is, what was happening with alkaline water filters is they were literally producing the real thing, which was hydrogen water to some degree. Is that accurate? That's some of the research I did.
Oh, yes, absolutely. In fact, alkaline electrolytic type processes initially produce hydrogen very
Okay.
efficiently, but over time they become coated and they don't produce the hydrogen as effectively. That's what's unique about this particular production process.
And that rolls me right. This is exactly so, folks. Would do you all see that there is something called hydrogen water, which is different than? And by the way, let me back up for a second, Doctor. How long has hydrogen water been in the news? It looked like it started rolling out with more and more studies just in the last 3 or 4 years. How new is this development of hydrogen water?
Like most things in the scientific community, it tends to start in the basic science world. So people start studying cells within a dish and see what it does. And it really catches the attention of the medical community. And medical researchers say, wait a minute, if it's doing this in a dish, what would it do inside the human body? And
Oh,
so that now we're really seeing it churn out into the medical research world where we're studying medical conditions, diabetes, inflammatory conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, actual brain disorders, autism, bipolar disorder, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. There's a lot of really neat work that's showing an impact that hydrogen water has on diminishing those disease impacts.
so what you're saying essentially is, in the medical community now, it's really being recognized, and we're getting enough studies, control group studies, to identify, yeah, this really works. Is that like, I catch your drift a little bit?
Oh yes, it's building to a point where it's about ready to become mainstream.
Interesting, very, very interesting, and that's what leads me. So, folks, do you kind of see where we're at here? You see, listen, everybody really needs to address their water, and B, do you all see? Hey, this is new. This is brand new. This is not just something that's been around. So, hydrogen water is something that's really getting in front of folks. And here's the third thing I want to really address completely, because some people think that hydrogen water systems are like just water filters. What's the difference between a hydrogen water system and your garden variety water filter?
Well, I mean, I think the main difference is that it's important that you do filter that water in a high quality filtration system. So no matter what your source of water is, you're going to be able to get out at the other end all of those impurities we talked about. But once that water is purified through the filtering process, it's fed through a separate pathway, which then breaks the hydrogen gas free from the water molecule through an electrolytic plate with a platinum surface on it. And that efficiently then feeds that hydrogen gas, we call molecular hydrogen, out through a separate purified water source and mixes that hydrogen gas in with that water, creating this 1.2 parts per million of molecular hydrogen.
Interesting.
Something
So it's kind of like you have a two-step approach. Get rid of the
cor-
impurities, and now you have a really good water source to then apply the process of, I guess, injecting effectively. I mean, that's probably a layman's way of saying it. Injecting molecular hydrogen into the water. Is that a reasonable statement?
that is a reasonable statement, and it's very effective in concentrating that hydrogen gas in such a way that you end up with this high quality concentration of hydrogen, which is
Perfect.
really what the studies require in order to see that beneficial effect in human
Well,
conditions.
listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I mean, let me ask you one other question. What message, what whatever everybody does tonight after they attend this webinar, what would be your most important message to the listeners now and all the people that listen to the recording later? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that we're taking things into our body that we don't realize are changing our immune system at the level of our gut. We know that the gut is responsible for about 65% of our immune function in our body. And in this time in our existence where we're in a pandemic, we all need immune systems that are at the top of their abilities. And there's nothing that I can think of that would do a better job in supporting healthy immune function than getting hydrogen water intake into the gut, allowing this healthy bacteria to flourish, which then allows our body to function in an amazing way to fight whatever comes our way.
Boy, that really summarizes everything. I should stop now. But Doctor, I want to thank you so much for attending this and taking your time to really kind of break down, what's the situation with our water, what's this stuff called hydrogen water, and then specifically, the connection between filtration and then injecting hydrogen molecular, molecules into water. I want to thank you for taking your time to being here.
Hey, my pleasure.
Thank you, folks. So, folks, here you go. I think we've learned 3 lessons. I hope you have. I think you have a pretty clear picture that my water isn't really that. No, it is. There's problems, and you need to address it. Number 2, hydrogen water itself is a totally new approach, and it's now the world, the medical field is really picking up on it, doing massive studies. The studies are coming out. Check. And now they're developing different applications. And last but not least, I think you can see that there is a difference between, say, just a regular water filter and a hydrogen water system that employs both a filter and a system to inject hydrogen molecules into the water. Now, at this point, I want to talk about this because now everybody's saying, okay, good, that's great, Bob, fantastic. So what's the solution and where do I find it? I can feel people are asking that question. So I have another guest coming online very, very shortly, and we're going to talk about what is the solution. And Mita Del Fiero, I'll just give you a little background. We're talking about a superstar in business and in the field of water. Mita has built global sales organizations for 4 decades, selling over $500 million in products. Mita herself has been $1 million earner multiple year after year. So she not only, it's not like she just studies the stuff, she knows how to market and how to promote it and really how to get the message to many people. And last but not least, she's a specialist in water herself. Mita, do you hear me?
Yes, I do, Bob.
Well, wait, hey, thanks for coming in. Now, you're West Coast? You all the way on the other side of the U.S. of A.?
Yes, in Seattle, Washington.
You got some water around there. I've been to Whidbey Island, man. We've been out there in a little island, taking a little ferry out there. So, Mita, let's talk about the real solution. And I want to go and talk about New Life Echo H2, which is the next generation water solution. Can you give us, a discussion of what you know about Echo H2? I know now the studies are now over 750 studies. What kind of studies have been done regarding New Life Echo H2?
Well, that's exactly it, Bob. First of all, there are right now over 750 scientific studies specifically on hydrogen water, about 170 studies on human disease models. Now, this is significant because hydrogen is critical for every aspect of our body. In fact, when you Google leading cause of disease, you're going to see oxidative stress and inflammation. Well, guess what? That's one of the very first things that drinking hydrogen water will address. And so, yes, absolutely. So all the studies that back up what we're talking about tonight, over 750 of them. And I know right now there are literally summits and conferences going on in different parts of the world where scientists and doctors come together specifically to talk about hydrogen water.
And now New Life Echo H2, which is our core product we're talking about, what they've done is they've married the world of water filtration to get those contaminants out, get those pesticides out, get all the crud out, so that then you have a pure water source to then inject hydrogen, molecular hydrogen. Talk about how does a New Life Echo H2 do that? How this two-step approach?
Okay, well, first of all, we do have a proprietary electrolysis process where the cathodes are not in contact with the water, and that's very, very important. Where we also, what happens is that we produce hydrogen gas from the source water, and then it is dissolved in a dissolving chamber. So we actually dissolve the hydrogen gas and then mix it with a second stream of water before it is dispensed, so that we can enjoy the healthiest drinking water on the planet.
But the key though is the water is already filtrated and you have a pure source. And I want to talk a little bit more about that second stage. Could you define for us, what is a cathode tube? What is a cathode?
Okay, well, yeah, the cathodes are obviously part of the machine itself that will accomplish the electrolysis. So basically, what we're doing, of course, is separating the H2 molecules.
So that's what it does. You're literally separating the H2 molecules in that second stage, and then remixing it with another water. Talk about that.
What we do is we extract the hydrogen gas from the source water.
Yep.
Okay. And then we're able to take that hydrogen gas and dissolve it in a dissolving chamber, and then mix it back into a second stream of water as it goes through the machine before that water gets dispensed.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really a proprietary process that
exactly, and that's what really separates New Life Echo H2, because it has the dual process of filtration, and then the hydrogen. I call it injections, kind of like injecting it into the water, and that is just awesome. Now, tell us, are there any other aspects of the Echo H2 system that people need to hear about? Because I know one thing, it also does this without changing the pH of the water. I learned from Kevin Harrington, the Shark Tank star, that if you have too much pH, it literally corrodes pipes in your house. So what's the importance of not changing the pH in certain waters?
Well, the importance of that really is when you understand that our body functions as when we ingest things, it automatically creates certain acids in order to be able to process what we eat and what we drink. And so really the necessity for trying to change the pH, there's really no real health benefits to that, so to speak. But one very, very important part to this also, Bob, that people need to understand is the filtration that we have with our Echo H2. Because you see, filtering the water before running it through the electrolysis, it is one of the very, very most important things that you need to do.
Why?
Because if there are still contaminants in the water before you run it through electrolysis, those contaminants become more bioavailable to the body. And guess what? That is not good. And yes,
Ooh, now
and
that
so,
makes
yep,
sense.
that's
Oh my
exactly it.
gosh.
That's
So
exactly
wait
it.
a second. Hold the phone. You just said something that just hit a light bulb in my head. I know there's products that focus on hydrogen only, and then there's products that focus on filtration only. You got to have both, right?
You have to have both. And that's the thing with the Echo filter, it removes the toxins. We
Uh,
have, yes, absolutely. It's not like the typical carbon filters that only remove, chlorine and a few other things. Our filter is very specific. It removes much, much more. And when you look at the media that is contained in the filter, there is a special order in that filter because it is designed to replenish itself, to function longer, and to have a higher percentage of contaminants removed.
okay, so it's kind of nuts, Mita,
What?
that, okay, get ready for this, folks. So here you have New Life Echo H2 does two things, yet it's 40% more affordable than the typical competitors. I just did the math on that, Mita. So you got two for the price of one, and the two is less than the price of one with the competitors. Did you know
Yes.
that? Of course you did.
Yes.
That's
I know.
great.
I
Oh
know.
my
And,
God.
and the thing is, Bob, what I think for me personally, when I started calculating what I used to spend on premium bottled waters, because like what Dr. Bird was talking about, I understood the contaminants that are contained in these plastic bottles. So I got premium waters, right? Premium bottled waters, trying to get around that, and didn't realize the fortune that I was investing.
Okay, what was the fortune? How much were you spending a day?
Literally, I was spending about $3 a bottle. And
Oh my God.
and I was probably drinking at least 5, 6 bottles a day.
Holy smokes.
Yes, but
And frankly, that was probably
my
a
health,
good decision, Mita, because
my health is worth it. It's
yeah,
about my health. It's about my
right.
family's health.
Right. I mean, if you're gonna buy, water from a bottle, you better have it glass, and that makes the cost 5 times as much as regular bottled water. So,
Yes.
holy smokes. Okay, I need you to stand by because I'm gonna walk people through what we're offering, but I need your help on a couple other things. Can you just hang in here just for a couple of moments?
Sure.
Okay, great. Okay, so folks, so we've learned a lot. Would you say? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so I mean, I've got to ask you all a question real quick. I've just poured a lot of information at you. We have Dr. Bird, Mita. She's been incredible. You probably feel like you've been filled up with 100 books. I've got to ask you a question. Is it okay for me now to just show you what our offer is? Just a few more minutes. Is that okay by you? Okay. So let's walk through this. So right now, here is what we're offering. And this is the New Life Echo H2 machine offer and what we could charge. I'm not saying what we do charge, it's what we could charge or probably should charge. An New Life Echo H2 machine creates molecular hydrogen water in your water. It filters out the contaminants and the impurities. A similar or competitors that at least do the filtration cost around $4,000. Okay, so that's about what you'd normally pay. Okay, I'm not talking about what our offer is. I'm just saying what you would normally pay. Part of our offer also is the Echo H2 Pitcher Countertop Portable, which normally costs $1,195. So when you combine that together, the total cost of our offer to completely address your health successfully here or really do a great job is $5,195. Uh-oh, wait, what? You're all asking, what, Bob? Wait, did you say hydrogen pitcher too? Yeah, here's my little surprise. So the New Life Echo H2 pitcher is also part of this offer if you are someone who takes action. This is the Echo H2 pitcher. Is portable. It makes hydrogen water. It produces hydrogen water in just a few minutes. It retails for $11.95. And I'm just stop for a second. Mita, tell us about the New Life Echo H2 pitcher, which is different than the New Life Echo H2 machine. Tell us about the pitcher.
Yes, it is. What I love about this pitcher is, first of all, is that it's portable. In fact, I'm traveling right now. I have it sitting in my hotel room. Okay, so you can actually make your own hydrogen water by simply using distilled water, reverse osmosis water. You just put it in there and you have a 10-minute setting and a 20-minute setting. So the 10-minute is 1 part per million of hydrogen. The 20 minutes is 2 parts per million hydrogen. Either one really is above what's recommended as a therapeutic level of hydrogen in your water. So you're going to get the benefits of drinking hydrogen water, the health benefits of doing that in just a matter of a few minutes, doing it conveniently. And you know what? This is also something like what if you have a child that's going to college? You know, give them this pitcher. Let them enjoy
Absolutely,
the health
100%.
benefits, right?
Absolutely.
Of the hydrogen water. And I just, yeah, I take it with me everywhere I go.
That's unbelievable. So let's start again. Here's our offer. The New Life Echo H2 machine, which is countertop next to your sink, or it could be under your sink. And it's like the Mercedes-Benz of water systems. So remember, once again, it creates molecular hydrogen in your water. The New Life Echo H2 machine filters out contaminants and impurities. And similar companies that only do the filtration part are around $4,000. The Echo H2 pitcher, countertop, portable, take it while you're traveling, that's $1,195. So the total cost of our offer to you, well, it's this is just a price. Of course, we're gonna do something different for you. Really is $5,195. But let me ask you this. Even if it was $5,195 for both the Echo H2 pitcher and the New Life Echo H2 machine, let me ask you these 3 questions. If all we did was help you feel much better than, say, even 90 days ago, would it be worth it? Think about it. Well, let me ask you another question. If all that happened, you bought the Echo H2 machine, countertop, or under sink, and you got the Echo H2 water pitcher, $5,190. Let's say you paid $5,195. If all that happened was that you could take better control of how you feel, I want to say that again. If all that happened was that you could take better control of how you feel each day, would it be worth it? Just think about it. Give me an honest answer. Okay. Last question. If all we did was provide you with a water system that you felt achieved your water goals, would this be worth it? Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. Here's our offer. Get ready. So you get the New Life Echo H2 machine, creates molecular hydrogen in your water, filters out contaminants and impurities, does both, and it only costs $57.95, or excuse me, $27.95. That's it. $27.95, 40% less than the competitors. We also provide the Echo H2 pitcher, countertop, portable, no cost if you act fast. Let me say it again. No cost. There's that $1,200 I was telling you about, $1,195 plus taxes, over $1,200. So the total cost of our offer is only $2,750. That is all. And once again, why? Well, we reward action. We want to get the Echo H2 pitcher out there as well as having the Echo H2 machine out there. So we reward you. So if you and here's how you can get the pitcher for free. If you purchase the New Life Echo H2 machine in the next 24 hours, we're going to actually start the clock at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you purchase the New Life Echo H2 machine in the next 24 hours, you will receive your Echo pitcher regularly priced at $11.95 for free. Nothing, nada. Okay? So I want to say I'm going to give you one last piece of this offer, knock your socks off. So here's our offer for those who are ready to improve their health right now. The New Life Echo H2 machine creates molecular hydrogen in your water, also filters out contaminants and impurities. $27.95. Echo H2 pitcher, countertop portable, free if you order in the next 24 hours starting at 9 o'clock. Okay? Total cost $27.50, and we can finance the whole deal for as little as $3 a day. Okay, Nita, come on. Is this what do you think of what do you think about that? That good?
I think that's an offer that is not to be missed, not to be passed up for sure. I mean, that's a great offer. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So I'm going to tell you what to do. We're going to take, I have some questions that people have emailed me. We're going to go over these. I want to stand by a little bit more, Mita, here, okay, real quick. So it's really time to take action right now. And here are the steps. Time to take action right now. So step one, if you're ready to get rocking here, you've been invited by your water guide to attend this webinar. The screen you're looking at right now should have a little blue button either below it or to the side of it, one or the other, okay? Click on the blue button and make your purchase. That's step one. You can do that right now. If you've said, oh, this is a no-brainer, $27.50, I get both, no worries, I'm in. Okay, so let's say you're not quite ready to do that. Here's step two. If you need more information, your water guide will call you really soon, or you can call your guide and they can answer any questions you have. Okay, step three, if you want financing, for this whole offer, your water guide will help you with that. Okay, so you contact your water guide. Well, here's step four. Hey, just go back and do step one. Okay, that's what you should do. Now, I've got some questions rolling in. Maybe you can help me with it. By the way, that's a blue button. That's what you press to go ahead and get involved. Mita, real quick, how big? Somebody has just asked, how big is the countertop? I mean, is it going to take the entire counter, or what's the size of it?
No, it's kind of the shoe boxes that they have nowadays. That it's kind of like that size.
About 12 inches. What, 12 inches high or so?
Right. It's not that. I mean, to me, it's not that big at all. It does not take up your whole counter. But yeah, about 12 inches.
It's about 12 inches high, I think, and
right.
It's about 3 inches wide. It's very compact and kind of cool looking.
Yeah, it's pretty compact.
And here's another question, real quick: do people, when they get their H2 machine, do they literally hook it up to the sink so water coming in from maybe a house has a filtration system already, or maybe they're getting water straight from the water utility? Do they just hook it up to the sink itself? How does that kind of work?
They will adapt it to what they have, but there are ways to hook it up to your faucet using a diverter, and then there are ways, of course, where you can hook it up to the water source, but it's pretty a standard thing with these kinds of devices, with these kinds of machines, Bob.
Okay, that makes sense. Somebody just asked now on the financing. There's a series of finance plans. I think the one that's the $3 a day, that's like a 36-month plan. Now, you said when you were buying bottled water that's glass, I mean, you were spending, I guess, what, $9 to $15 a day?
Yes.
Okay, so in this case, that's $3 a day to make
It-
yourself feel better.
yeah.
Now, there's another person that actually did. This is a good question. I guess because maybe they don't believe it. One of the people that actually did the instant water analysis said that they had like 25 times the arsenic in their water, their regular water, 25 times the level, safe level of arsenic. Mita, isn't arsenic, was that rat poison? That's the question. What was arsenic? Is that like, isn't that people poison people with?
Well, I will tell you that water analysis is a real eye opener. It was certainly for me, and I think once people understand that so many of the contaminants really increases the risk of cancer. But when you look at arsenic specifically, just low levels of arsenic over a long period of time is associated with diabetes and increased risk of cancer, specifically of bladder, lungs, liver, and other organs. But also,
Wow.
but also here's the thing, arsenic can contribute to cardiovascular and respiratory diseases,
Oh my golly gosh.
reduced intelligence in children, okay, and skin problems like lesions and discoloration of skin and whatnot.
Wow.
And yeah, and we all know
That's just from arsenic. I mean,
that's just arsenic, right? And our filter removes arsenic.
Oh, that is just, So there's another question that just came in, and this is how much water should you drink? Well, that's a good question. I mean, how much water should you drink? I mean, is it 2 or 3 glasses a day? Should you stop at some point? What's the drill on that?
Okay, well, the water in general, you should take your weight and cut that in half, and that's how many ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water per day. Now, how much of that should be, how much of that should be hydrogen water? Enough, I think your intake of hydrogen water should be enough so that it's kind of replenished every 2 to 3 hours, so to speak. So it doesn't have to be the only source of water that you're drinking. Certainly the machine can make just filtered water, but hydrogen water, when again, when you understand that that hydrogen literally is it's a selective antioxidant. So all it does is it seeks out the cytotoxic radicals, which is the most damaging of all.
Yeah, and look, this I actually looked up.
Absolutely. Well, first,
Help me out here.
okay. I know. I think we've all heard about antioxidants and free radicals, but I think what most people don't understand is that most of the radicals actually have physiological roles in our body.
And what do they do? What's the purpose of those little babies?
It's a balance that we want to get between when we're addressing oxidation. Okay, oxidation is normal. Oxidative stress is not normal. Okay, and that's, remember, oxidative stress and inflammation, leading cause of disease.
Yikes.
Okay, but oxidation, it is normal. However, we want a balance of oxidation and reduced oxidation. So,
okay.
Yes, and so when we take antioxidants, but with hydrogen, the hydrogen is a selective active antioxidant. And this is key. So all it's doing is it's going after the cytotoxic radicals. It targets those specifically and leaves alone the other radicals that we need for all the other physiological roles in our body. And that's how we achieve balance or homeostasis.
Interesting. Well, this is very good. And I told folks I wasn't going to take too long on this. I can't thank you enough, Mita. There are some folks who are texting me now saying they don't see a little blue button on their screen. If you don't see that, that's okay. Our water guide is going to call you to find out if you're ready to go. We have quite a few people going, oh, what to buy, what to buy, what to buy. And they will get to you, folks. If you don't see the little blue button for whatever reason, but Mita, I just can't thank you enough for being here and supplying this invaluable information. I appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. And by the way, somebody's asking where they can get some of these studies. If they just go to hydrogenstudies.com, they're going to see a lot of it there.
Oh, beautiful. That's fantastic. Okay, folks. So listen, here's what you got to do. Okay, the clock at 8 more minutes is going to tick at the 24-hour deadline. Okay, if you order your H2 machine, your countertop, or your undersink, the Mercedes-Benz of H2 and filtration combined, the Mercedes-Benz, you get that. You're also going to get the hydrogen pitcher, normally $1,195 plus tax. You're going to get that for free if you order in the next 24 hours. If you can't get to your little blue button, our water guides are going to reach back out to you so you can purchase. So I want to thank you for all taking the time to be here. I will be here next week. We will be here on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So if you want to bring your friends, invite folks, make sure you let your water guides know, and they'll make sure that you have an invite. So thank you very much for attending. I really appreciate the time that you did take to be here. Thank you.